Sussex wants to return to England. Will the king allow his traitorous son and his narcissistic wife to come back even after everything they have done? Hello friends, welcome to the King YouTube channel. Regret is a difficult emotion to deal with, is it not? Well, it seems like right now that is an emotion that Prince Harry has been feeling a lot. And it's not difficult to understand why. Since he and Meghan have moved to California, it has been failure after failure after failure. Harry is now a global laughingstock, and he thought that he was going to be a global leader. So could this rumor be true that Harry and Meghan really are trying to figure out some way to return to England? Well, according to Life and Style Weekly, an American tabloid magazine, Harry and Meghan really are convinced that they can just come back home whenever they want to. Alright, so there's an article with the headline Harry and Meghan's Big Return. Nearly 4 years after leaving England, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are ready to move back and make amends. I know, I said the same thing as you. What kind of absurd nonsense is this? Well, let's just take a look at the article together and figure out what's going on here. The article begins by mentioning that photo of some family that wasn't even Meghan and Harry and the kids that was taken on Halloween. It says a photo that surfaced online showed Harry and 4-year-old Archie, who appeared to be dressed as a skeleton, holding hands and clutching orange jack-o'-lantern buckets. Meanwhile, Meghan carried 2-year-old Lilibet, who wore a poofy pink costume on her hip as they roamed near their home in Montecito, California. Now, why this article is even mentioning that photo after it was proven that it wasn't even them, I'm not sure. But whatever, let's see what else they have to say. Oh, well then it goes on to tell us that next year the Sussexes may be trick-or-treating in England. After leaving Britain and stepping down as senior working royals in 2020 amid growing tensions with his family, Harry and Meghan have been talking about moving back to London, reveals a source, explaining that the duo are going through one of the toughest times of their lives, and that's saying a lot considering what they've been through already. California just isn't cutting it for them, and their financial situation is becoming dire. Oh, thank you so much, Life and Style, for stating the obvious. Of course, California is not cutting it for them. I mean, they're pariahs there. Their neighbors want nothing to do with them. The A-listers they were convinced that were going to be their friends want nothing to do with them. People are laughing at them. Shows are making fun of them. It's not as if they have careers to make them happy either. No company wants to work with them at this point. And yeah, I 100% believe that their financial situation has become dire. I mean, just look at the way they love to spend money without having any real source of income. Of course they're running out of money by now. And according to this source, they have become very desperate. Harry's been trying to cut a secret deal to live and work with the royal family again. And Charles has graciously agreed to it. He and Meghan are grateful. What is this source talking about? I personally do not believe this for 1 second. I mean, if the two of them were not even invited to the king's birthday party, how are they going to be allowed to come back and be working royals again? Now, would the king allow Harry and Harry alone to return to the family? Probably, sure, it is his son after all. But allow Meghan to come back too, and allow either of them to be working royals again? I don't think so. There's also this caption beneath the photo of Harry. It wasn't all bad, it says. I missed the weird family gatherings when we're all sort of brought together under one roof, Harry admitted in his 2022 Netflix docuseries. I miss the UK. I miss my friends, end quote. Well, I'm sure Harry does miss all of those things, but that doesn't mean that he can have them back. He certainly does not deserve to have his old life back after the way he trashed it. And another thing I'm not convinced of is that he even wants his old life back. I'm sure on some level he does, but I don't believe that Meghan is encouraging that at all, and I suspect that he is still under her control. Life in Montecito certainly does not come cheap. But that is not the royal family's fault that Meghan and Harry pitched a fit and ran away and they can't support themselves. I mean, last I checked, that's their problem. They need to figure it out. But anyway, according to this source, they obviously need to cut their expenses, noting that the cost of maintaining their lifestyle has left Harry and Meghan about $28 million in debt, and they seemingly have no new income. It's been a rude awakening. $28 million in debt. Can you imagine such a thing? I mean, I've panicked when I had a couple of thousand on my credit card that I was having trouble paying down. $28 million in debt? What is wrong with the two of them? How irresponsible can they be? And again, how is it the fault of the royal family that they got themselves into this mess? It's not. It is not the royal family's responsibility to get them out of this mess. And so, of course, that is why, according to this source, Harry and Meghan want to return to Britain. The source claims that Harry and Meghan have tried to make it work in America, but it hasn't happened, and their money problems have directly affected their marriage. From what we have seen of them recently, I certainly believe these money problems are affecting their marriage. See, Meghan and Harry are not the kind of couple who can rely on each other in hard times. No, they're going to turn on each other. And that's why every single time we see them out in public lately, Harry looks like he hates Meghan, like he's absolutely miserable, and Meghan looks like she's trying everything she can to keep him on a short leash and make sure he minds. But again, just because they have failed in America does not mean they have any right whatsoever to return to Britain. But apparently, Meghan is not so excited about living with the royals again. Quote, she thinks they'll still be living in LA 8 months a year and can rent a massive Kensington Palace apartment the rest of the time, according to this source, pointing out that the couple previously resided on the palace grounds in a small cottage. Quote, she believes it could help them repair their marriage, end quote. Oh, you know, Meghan, nothing but the best for her. So why would she even want to live in LA 8 months out of the year anyway? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's not as if they're working in LA. And where are they going to be living? Are they going to stay in that Montecito Olive Garden looking McMansion, or are they going to get somewhere they can actually afford? Interesting, too, that we've made it this far into the article with almost no mention of the invisible children. How are they going to adapt to living in a new country? And how would it make sense to live in LA 8 months out of the year and live in Britain the other 4? I mean, real children need to attend school, so how is that going to work out? Well, at least in the next paragraph, they are mentioned. So the source reports that King Charles loves Harry and his grandchildren, and having his family back together is what he's wanted, end quote. Now, okay, on the one hand, I do believe that Charles would like Harry to come back. He would have to apologize and he would have to try to make amends for everything he has done, but I do believe the king still deeply loves his son and he would like to see him turn his life around. As for him loving the grandchildren, though, well, how could that be when he has never even met them? According to this source, though, the king really is agreeing to this plan of Meghan and Harry coming back. But, according to the source, his approval comes with conditions. Namely, Meghan and Harry have to agree not to speak ill of the royals again. That's a must. It would be an utter embarrassment if they were to be kicked out of the family for a second time. End quote. Well, okay, I'm proud of them for at least acknowledging that Meghan and Harry were indeed kicked out of the family, that it wasn't 100% their choice to leave. But still, why would the family let them back in only to kick them out for a second time? King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, Princess Catherine, and all their advisors, oh, and also Princess Anne, they're not stupid. They are never going to trust the traitors again. They're never going to let them get close enough so that they would need to be kicked out a second time. And the most absurd part of this entire article, this source is claiming that Meghan and Harry could resume royal duties by as soon as December, end quote. Seriously, who is this source? I mean, it has to be Meghan and Harry themselves, but honestly, this is kind of crazy even for them. King Charles wants the monarchy to survive, and he knows that if he were to allow the two of them to resume royal duties, the king's loyal subjects would absolutely turn on him. They would never support a monarchy that's employing Meghan and Harry. The article goes on to admit that maybe Prince William and Princess Catherine are not going to be such fans of this idea. The source says Prince William and Princess Catherine, quote, don't think Harry and Meghan moving back is such a good idea, end quote. Well, of course they don't think it's such a good idea. They don't want a couple of treasonous traitors in their midst. There are only 2 people, maybe 4 people who think this would be a good idea. The 2 people are Meghan and Harry themselves, and the 4 people would be if I include Doria and Marcus Anderson. The source reports that William and Catherine are mostly worried about being neighbors with Meghan and Harry, quote, so they'd still be neighbors with the Sussexes in London, and Meghan and Kate as neighbors again could be problematic, end quote. Well, of course it would be problematic. I mean, Meghan would be trying to sneak over there all the time and take photos of their sleeping children, trying to go in all the private areas of their home. I would feel so scared having Meghan as my neighbor if I were Catherine. But the source insists that William does want to make peace with Harry in the end. Quote, William does want to repair his relationship with his brother. The thought is that they'll all have to leave the past behind them and start fresh, end quote. Well, folks, I guess we just gotta keep our eyes peeled. Any day now, we're gonna read the news that Meghan and Harry are coming back and they're gonna be working royals again. And they're gonna hire some seals to be there when Meghan and Harry arrive so that Meghan can sing to them and they'll sing back. And then they're gonna be unicorns flying through the sky farting rainbows. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold my breath waiting for that update. And you, what do you think about this news of Meghan and Harry coming back? Please let me know your opinion below in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share with anyone else who would appreciate it too. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.